Hello, my name is Jake and I work within the property litigation team here at Newbold Solicitors. Now, the property litigation team assists with an array of issues ranging from property boundary disputes to Talata claims to our landlord services. And my role in the department is predominantly assisting and advising landlords, some of which are based here in Wales. And I therefore know that the legislation due to come into effect later this year will have a massive impact on the work I do. Now, the legislation I'm referring to is the Renting Homes Wales Act 2016. And I hope through this video I can give you a brief overview of some of the changes it's due to introduce. Now, it's due to come into force on the 15th of July 2022, and it's thought to be the biggest change in housing law for decades here in Wales. The purpose of the Act was to replace various complex pieces of legislation with one clear framework. In effect, Wales will have its own self-contained set of housing laws, and although they may share some similarities with those in England, there'll also be some major differences. And it's therefore really important that landlords with properties in Wales get ahead of these changes to avoid penalties for non-compliance when the changes come into effect later this year. Now, the first thing to note about the changes coming into effect in this new legislation is the terminology used. For example, tenants or licensees are referred to as contract holders, and assured or assured short-hold tenancies will be replaced with what they call occupation contracts. Now, talking of contracts, there'll be two types: secure contracts, which will be used by community landlords, and standard contracts, which will be used by private landlords. And in these occupation contracts, standard terms will have to be used. You can think of these as clauses. And the provision of these will be mandatory in Wales, and there'll be penalties for non-compliance. Another major change that this legislation will bring into effect is the time it takes for a landlord to regain possession of their property on no-fault grounds, something we often see here at Newbold Solicitors. At the moment, so pre-pandemic, a landlord would be able to serve their tenant with 2 months' notice, providing it is outside of a fixed term, to regain possession of their property. Under this new legislation, that will be increased to 6 months. And you won't be able to serve such notice in the first 6 months of an occupation contract. In effect, a tenant or a contract holder will be able to be in a property for 12 months before you can evict by no fault grounds. So unless one of the fault-based grounds applied. Additionally, bringing Wales in line with England, a landlord will be unable to serve notice seeking possession if they've not served their tenant with an energy performance certificate or a gas safety certificate. They've also added a satisfactory electrical report in with the requirements as well. And it's really important to stress, and I know this will be relevant to a lot of our clients, if you don't stick to these regulatory requirements, it will affect your ability to regain possession of your property. And it's therefore important that we understand these changes before they come into effect. Now, this legislation also refers to the fact properties must be fit for human habitation. And this refers to electrical testing and sufficient smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors being in the property. The important thing to note about this is rent will not be due for any period of which the dwelling is deemed not fit for human habitants. To avoid any action being brought against them, landlords should ensure that they stick to the regulations. Now, the final thing to note is around joint contracts. So a joint contract holder will be able to move out of the property without the contract ending for the remaining joint contracts. This is something which isn't the case currently. So that's some of the changes. As I said, there's a lot more, and here at Newbold Solicitors we'll be updating you as these changes come to light. And I hope you found this video of use. We understand it can be mind-boggling, so please give us a call if you seek any further clarification. We'd also be grateful if you could give this video a like and share. Thank you.